Hello, I'm Mark Scholaro, the owner of MS Classic Cars. Today I'm coming right back at you with another spectacular ride. This is a 1969 Chevrolet Camaro Custom that is powered by a Scott Shafiroff 434 V8 pushing 595 horsepower. Come meet the Intimidator. To start off this video here, this is a non-rehearsed video. There's going to be information that I do forget during the presentation. I will be referencing my notes, but I would ask that you visit our website at msclassiccars.com for a full description with tons of highly detailed photos, and of course this video here that you're looking at today. If you have or have not been following MS Classic Cars, please note that I only collect #1 and #2 condition vehicles. We are the only classic car dealership in the country who services everything we sell. We document the work with an invoice, as we've done here with this particular car. Then we detail these vehicles to the highest level and present them to you here today. This binder, which I create for every vehicle that we sell, always includes that invoice front and center, as it does with this vehicle. It is as clear as day, everything that we've done to it. We just don't improve upon cars mechanically, but we improve upon them cosmetically. I'll touch base with that in a minute. But as this invoice indicates, we invested $16,925.07 into the vehicle that you're looking at here today. So to start off, talking about this particular Camaro and kind of the story behind it, and I'm going to read this off of some of my notes here just to make sure I cover everything. It was designed and built by Clutch Rodding Customs. If you Google them, they've done some pretty spectacular builds over the years. As the VIN number indicates, this particular car was built originally in Norwood, California. Obviously a '69 Camaro. It was an 8-cylinder car when it left the factory. Of course, 2-door Sport Coupe. As the Norwood Trim Tag indicates, it was an SS 350 car. It had a silver exterior with a black interior. So the goal with this and vision of this restoration was to build something that just looked stealth, and that's exactly what this car is. So being featured on the cover of Super Chevy magazine, I've included a brand new Tupperware container here. You will clearly see the shot of the car, again, super stealth, parked on this road here. They labeled it custom creation. Rags to riches is what the article says. Again, this is a one-off '69 Camaro built to stun. Take it from Super Chevy magazine. There's a whole spread in here about it. This magazine is included. We also have this photo, live photos here that basically come with a thumb drive of the entire restoration as well. We also have a build book that the builder provided with the vehicle. They started with the car, it was red. Obviously, it was repainted at some point in time, and it just goes through the entire transformation from start to finish. So again, all of that stuff is included in this brand new plastic Tupperware container that I've provided. Go ahead and close this up here. And back to the binder that I've created here, in case you're wondering what else is inside this binder. Not only do we have the invoice for all the work that we did, I made copies. They're color copies from the magazine, so you'd have two references here. This is actually a copy of the title in the gentleman's name who actually built the car from Clutch, Rod, and Custom. And then there's some recent work that was done to the car from the gentleman that I actually purchased the car from. He did put new tires on this vehicle in 2020. And then, of course, when he got the car, he said the engine that was in the car was fine. It was just not a high horsepower motor. So he went out, he connected with Scott Shafiroff. If you don't know anything about him or his company, make sure to Google it. They're some of the best engine builders in the country. They actually advertise this vehicle, or this engine rather, as a ultra street classic, and it's pushing 595 horsepower. So based on his receipts that we have that are included, he added everything up. What he invested in this engine, it was almost $22,000, including parts and labor. That's just for the motor. Really spectacular. The rest of this stuff that's in here is just various receipts from the engine, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of the story of what the car was when it was new, a story of who built it, its restoration process. Obviously, it went from the builder to the gentleman that I bought it from, and here it is today. So when we got this car, we basically had a vision of what MS Classic Cars thought about it, and we definitely gave it a little bit of a different look than you might see in the magazines. And I'll kind of explain to you here today what we did to the exterior, what we've done to the interior, the engine compartment, and undercarriage, and so forth. So let's start off by saying regarding the body of the vehicle, the body is very, very straight. If you look down the side of it, it looks really nice. The gap lines are really nice. It's sporting a cowl hood, which looks really, really spectacular. The paint that they used on this vehicle is such a brilliant color. It is absolutely gorgeous. I'm just going to reference my notes here. They call it gray pearl metallic. So obviously it's a great shade of gray, and then they complemented the gray paint, which I thought was perfect. Rather than leaving it plain or maybe giving it its dual racing stripes, as you would typically see on, say, a Camaro Z28, they gave it a single stripe down the hood and also down the rear deck lid. Not only is the stripe black, but they left about a ½ inch pinstripe that kind of covers the whole entire sides of the stripe in the front and the back. That combination of gray, red, and black looks absolutely spectacular. When we detailed the car at MS Classic Cars, we really cut into the paint, compound polish, buff wax, etc. It looks absolutely like wet. It's like wet paint. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Can't say enough about it. So when we decided in service, I'll give the credit to my service team for coming up with some of these great ideas. We decided to do a few things to it to kind of enhance it. So what we did is we actually painted the windshield wiper arms and blades, the piece that actually holds the wiper rubber pieces on. They went from kind of like a aluminum color to more black, kind of hit them a little bit, made it look a little different. We also added these mirrors to the car. It did not have any mirrors originally, and the gentleman that I bought it from, he actually added a set of mirrors. Wasn't a huge fan of the mirrors that were on the car, so we changed them to these Ring Brothers billet aluminum style mirrors. We thought they matched the wheels perfectly. What a huge difference it made. They also matched the billet style taillights in the rear, so it all kind of flows together. We actually changed out the headlights to a very modern style headlight. It's a halo headlight, LED, and then of course we added some LED driving lights on the bottom. Those headlights actually have turn signals built into them. They're really sweet headlights. In regards to the brand name, they're called Pacifics, is what they are, United Pacific. Again, The few other things that were done during the restoration, before I forget to mention it, what they did is they actually flush mounted all of the glass, and they actually got rid of the drip rails, so they made everything disappear for more of a smooth look. I think it's absolutely spectacular how they did this, but all the glass is brand new, it's tinted, and basically it's all flush mounted. So if you look at the front windshield, back windshield, you'll notice there's no trim. Again, it looks super, super smooth. They also did some modifications to the bumpers. The bumpers were actually tucked and customized slightly to give it, again, more of a slick look. It just looks amazing when you see the car in person. It actually sits on XMS billet wheels. Again, they match the mirrors, they match the taillight bezels. They're 17 in the front, 18 in the rear. Again, I mentioned earlier that the tires were replaced in 2020. They're like new. They're Hankook tires, a good brand name. They fit the car absolutely perfectly. So when you look at the outside of this car, depending on whatever angle you catch it at, it's so spectacular. Reference all the photos in our gallery at msclassiccars.com. We did a really good job kind of showing the vehicle in different angles, lights on, lights off. Vehicle was raised a little bit. It's because it's got air ride suspension. We lowered it a little bit. It just really shows the true character of this car. And there's a lot of cars out there that look mean, but they don't have the power to back them up. Not the case with this car as I flow into this presentation here. Now, making our way into the interior. This interior is absolutely one of a kind. When you look at the inside, the outside color combination definitely matches the interior perfectly. They went a little bit lighter shade of gray. It's kind of a two-tone effect here. It looks really, really nice. You'll see how much work was spent on this custom headliner here. You have to reference it again in our photo gallery. They did a beautiful job with the entire headliner here. It flows into this dash here. The dash is all wrapped with matching material. It flows into the door panels, into the rear door panels, and most importantly, it flows into the seats. So this is definitely one of the most unique interiors that I've seen in a 69 Camaro. It's super comfortable to sit in. These are obviously custom Pro Car style bucket seats. And what's really, really cool about this interior, one of my favorite things, you'll have to reference the photos to really see it in full effect, but we do have red LED lights that are tied into the interior throughout. We're talking about the headliner, we're talking about the door panels, and we're talking about the actual seats. Not only the front seats, but the back seats as well. It's got this real sweet red light, and remember, it has the red stripe on the outside. So again, everything in this car kind of flows. It also has Autometer Phantom gauges in the front. You can see that, of course. Some of these light switches, windshield wiper controls have the billet knobs. It does have kind of a racing style pedal. I believe they're actually called Clayton is what they are. Clayton Machine pedals. They did a beautiful job with this full-length center console here. It houses a really nice sound system. It's actually, I'm going to find, here it is, Pioneer head unit. It's got Rockford Fosgate amplifiers, Rockford Fosgate speakers mounted into the kicker panels. It's just a killer sound system. When you open up this center console here, which is actually really nice how this opens and closes, you have your air conditioning controls. Again, that's a vintage AC system. You have power windows, both front and rear. You got your air ride pad to, correct all of your adjustments for your air suspension, front and back. You also have a connector for a cell phone charger and a 12 volt as well. So again, little storage compartment back here for the remote control for the radio. And this again opens and closes nice, and you can use it as an armrest. When we got the car, it had kind of like a gray carpeting, and it had more of a factory style steering wheel, and it had a little bit of a unique shifter in it. What we decided to do was we decided to replace the shifter with a Ring Brothers billet aluminum shifter. We thought it would match the mirrors and everything on the exterior beautifully, and it absolutely did. We killed it with that. And the steering wheel, we actually called Budnik. They really rushed this for us because they have a back order, super busy as most companies are today. They did us a huge favor, got this done quick. They brushed it for us. This is a really nice steering wheel. I can actually give you the name of the steering wheel here. I get lost sometimes with the different steering wheel names. Let's see if I can find it here. I'll have to come back. Oh, here it is. Budnik G10 is what they reference it as. It's a newer steering wheel that they just came out with. Again, it's brand new. We wrapped it with a black wrap here to match the interior. Again, that matches everything else. And then what we did is we took everything out of the interior. We replaced those gray carpeted rugs with black rugs, and then we dressed them with black floor mats. So we think that the additions of the things that we did really set the interior off. Of course, then we detailed it to the highest level to what you see here today. But as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of things in this interior that I didn't cover. A lot of it you can see within the photos, so just make sure to check it out. As an example, it has this turn signal here is billet aluminum. The door handles to open the doors actually match the steering wheel, et cetera, et cetera. One thing I would also like to mention before I forget, because you do not see exterior door handles, this has actually got door poppers. One of the things that we actually fixed when we put the car through service, again, you can reference our invoice for all the work that we did to this car, but this has got these key fobs which open and, you know, not only the driver's side, passenger side, but also the trunk compartment as well. So we have two of those that are included with the car. So again, just awesome, awesome stuff. When you look at the trunk compartment, the trunk actually matches the interior perfectly. They boxed the entire trunk. They wrapped it with all the same material. It's got the same style design in it. Again, you can see that on our website. Behind the main compartment in the trunk area, you will find the amplifiers that I had mentioned earlier. You'll find the tank for the air ride back there. They just did a really nice job of keeping it simple. And then, of course, the carpeting was gray. We actually dyed it so it's black. It now matches the interior, so everything kind of flows. Now, making our way to the engine bay. This is where things get exciting. I'll tell you what we've done to the engine compartment. As I mentioned earlier, the gentleman that I bought the car from, he bought a brand new Scott Shafiroff 434, 595 horsepower crate motor, if you will. Had it professionally installed, dialed it all in. It's an absolute monster of a motor. Sounds amazing. But what we did is we actually started to really turn things up a little bit, and we did our touches here at MS Classic Cars. That included the hood hinges. Those hinges actually, again, match the wheels, they match the mirrors, the steering wheel. We kind of kept that flow. Again, we did a lot with the wiring. We did a lot with the hoses, a lot of heat shrink. We kind of cleaned up some stuff. Big thing that I think we did that made a huge difference is we changed the air cleaner. The air cleaner was more of like a round air cleaner. In our opinion, didn't really work well with this setup. So we put on a March Performance Style Track air cleaner, which fits perfectly. When you shut the hood, it fits nice up into that circle behind the cowl. Again, it looks absolutely killer. We left on the valve covers that have the inscription of Scott Shafiroff in them. It just looks really, really nice. Talking about some of the other things here, just to kind of touch base on them, it does have a new quick fuel 950 CFM carburetor. It also has custom pulleys. It is cooled by a B-Cool aluminum radiator with an electric fan. You can see that in the photos, so you don't have to worry regarding the engine temperature and stuff like that. The engine breezed through mid-length headers into a Flowmaster exhaust system. You got to check out the dual tips, how they integrated them back there. To me, it just looks real clean, real simple. The back end of this car is really spectacular. The engine is coupled to a Tremec 5-speed transmission, so it's got the overdrive, and it has a Sachs clutch. One of my favorite parts about this car, is the clutch. The clutch is so smooth, so easy to operate. Sometimes when you get behind the wheel of cars that have big horsepower, the clutches can get real stiff. They can be a real chore to drive. This actually feels spectacular when you're driving it. The engine is really dialed in. The guys in service did a great job with that. Can't say enough about it. And the power is transferred to a Mosier 12-bolt posi rear end with 355 gears, so it's got really good gears for in-city and for highway driving. Now, when we talk about the undercarriage was painted with kind of a texture material for durability. The undercarriage is super clean. When we got the car into the detail room, after we did the exterior, the interior, the engine compartment, we did all of our fine detailing. We did kind of do a light restoration on the underneath of the car, just to take the car to the next level. So the car does have power steering, it does have subframe connectors, it does have a polished fuel tank in the back. The front suspension consists of Ridetech upper and lower control arms, sway bar, and of course the air ride. You'll notice in the underneath everything is red. Again, the red is to follow the theme of the car. You kind of want to try to tie it into the entire vehicle, and that's exactly what they did. The rear suspension consists of Ridetech Ford Link, which is a great setup, again, with air ride rather. It does have a full braking. It's an 8-inch brake booster. It's a Wilwood master cylinder, Wilwood four-wheel disc brakes. They're drilled rotors. It's got red calipers, again, to match everything. Again, everything was done so nice. When you look at this engine bay, you can even see the attention to detail that they put on the radiator support cover. There's a custom cover there. We put a battery disconnect in it, so if someone's going to store the car, they can turn the battery power off. Again, there's so many things that I could talk about with this engine bay as you kind of go through it. You see the hi-fi ignition box on the firewall as an example. You can look at everything about the car was just tastefully done, and you'll have to spend the time and really study just how beautiful it is. As an example, as I'm sitting here in this video thinking of all the things in this car, when you open the doors in this car, we actually at MS Classic Cars, we added billet door sills. Again, that's just an example of something I forgot. So please make sure to check it out on our website, msclassiccars.com. If you have not signed up for our VIP email blast, please do. We take a lot of pride in how we do our email blasts. We send them out with a lot of updates when we add new cars, when we sell cars at auctions, etc., etc. Make sure to follow us on social media. We're on all the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, you name it, we do it. And to end this video, before I go ahead and start the car, here's the best part of this entire deal. I saved the best for last. This vehicle is selling with our Barrett-Jackson collection that's heading down to West Palm Beach, Florida, April 7th through the 9th. So the car is going to be getting loaded up here in the next couple days with Ply Car Automotive Logistics in the enclosed trailer to the auction. This particular car is selling with no reserve. That means car starts at 0, high bid wins. No reserve on Saturday, April 9th. The lot number is 432.2, I believe. I might be wrong on that, so please visit our website, double check that. It might be 693.2. I forget what the lot number was, but just make sure to check out it on Barrett-Jackson's website. Check it out on our website. If you can't be at the auction in person, make sure to go online, register to bid. You can bid online. You can do it over the phone. It's a real simple process. Again, make sure to check it out. I'm going to go ahead and start the car. I have not started this car in a day or so here. This is going to be a cold start. It's very difficult to get a high horsepower motor dialed in like this. This is a cold start, carbureted car. Again, 950 CFM carburetor. I just wanted to show you how nicely it starts and how well it runs. Just going to pump the gas pedal a few times here. Turn the key. I mean, you can't make that up. Hats off to my guys in service. 600 horsepower, baby. It's time to rock and roll. Thanks for watching.